T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're listening to The Twisted 10, bringing you original and unique, host-created top 10 lists, recorded live in world-famous Cocoa Beach, Florida, with hosts Tach Van Sickle and Adam Poston.
Welcome to another episode of The Twisted 10. I'm one of your hosts. My name's Adam Poston. Sitting to my right,
I am Tach. What is up?
how you doing, man? Another week. We got a really cool show this week. But let me introduce one other guest before we get going. Andrea Joy is in studio with us.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, welcome, Andrea.
And Tach,
you.
I have a very special surprise for you this week.
You do?
I kind of set this up. We talked about it in the past, but I kind of set this up without you knowing about it. I hope you're okay. Don't fire me from the show or anything.
What'd you do, Adam?
You see the video sitting on our table over there.
Yeah,
That is our boy Joe Pardo.
Joe Pardo.
Who is going to guest host an episode of The Twisted 10. So how you doing, Joe?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourselves?
Very, very
Good,
well.
man. Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate being here, and I appreciate just being asked. And it was, what was it, like 2 months ago, Adam had brought it to my attention that I should be a guest. And fortunately, but unfortunately I had a kid, so now we're here, though.
Now, what the audience didn't hear for The Twisted 10 is while we were doing the pre-recording work in studio, Joe's wife brought his baby by, so we got to hear newborn cries, and of course Andrea was
cute.
Yeah, she was in love. So no, man, that was a treat for us. Congratulations on the newborn. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun.
Certainly,
It's been very tiring, obviously.
Yeah, you're developing new bags under your eyes. What's that all about? You wanna
Yeah, well, you
Taking a trip?
do what you
Those
gotta
are daddy
do.
bags.
Going on a trip there, Joe?
daddy bags? You know, my meaning of daddy
bags.
bags is completely different than Joe's meaning of daddy bags. I'm just saying.
Well, you mean badges of honor, bags of
Yeah.
honor.
Bags of honor. Yeah, very good. So, Joe, you've listened to the show. I assume a couple of the episodes already for the Twisted 10?
Yes.
All right, cool deal. So how the format works with guests, you're our first guest over the internet. This is a Skype hosted call. So you're our first guest from abroad. Essentially, this is your show. So you're going to take over the Twisted 10, and you are going to present us with your unique and original top 10 list. And we're just going to sit back and relax. Joe, I don't know if you know, but this is a way for us not to have to do pre-show work. You just take it over for us, and
Hey, thanks. It was my week, too. Appreciate it, Joe.
No, you're very welcome, Zach. Anything I can do for a friend, man.
all right, brother. Whenever you're ready, you can get started.
So I wasn't supposed to tell you guys what my list was going to be about, so I didn't. But I think if you know me and you know what I'm about, and like if you could see the background of my office, you would probably have a good
I'm
guess
guessing
of what it's
Disney
about.
stuff.
It is Disney stuff.
If I
It
know
is-
Joe, I know Disney.
Andrea, this is a show you might be able to guess ahead of time. You know Disney
I
better
love
than Tack and
Disney.
myself. Joe, I feel I've done you a wrong here, though. I didn't actually introduce your shows or your books or anything. So do you want to take a second and do a little bit of that? Just say who the hell is this Joe Pardo guy and why is he on the Twisted 10? Some of our listeners
right.
may not know who you are.
That's quite possible. It's quite possible. Okay, so I'm Joe Pardo, also known as Super Joe Pardo from superjoepardo.com. I run the Dreamers podcast where I interview people who live their dreams every single week. I also do a pre-show where we talk about the different topics that, like, as far as management, running a business, being an entrepreneur, dealing with self-doubt, like all that great stuff. Gets shoved into one big episode. My episodes used to be 30 minutes, and now they're like anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. Because of the pre-show plus the interview. It's, I don't mind at all because I don't do any editing anymore like I used to. So I put it out there and I do what I got to do. And it's been a lot of fun. But I've also written 2 books in the first 2 years, 31 life-changing concepts, as well as How to Dream Big and Win. And I'm working on my 3rd and 4th books at the same time. The 3rd book is going to be sales won't save your business because it's more of from a business side of my business background. Because I do a lot of business consulting. I also do web design. I also am a speaker. Like I do a lot. So I do a lot to earn the whole Super Joe Pardo title. I wouldn't feel right if I just sat back and just called myself that for marketing's sake. So
very nice. Hey, by the way, Anthony Hayes gave me or awarded me your 31 Concepts book. So I have that sitting on the shelf in there and read it. It's a quick read, but it's really good. It's a good book. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to Anthony. Shout out to Anthony Hayes because he's the man. In fact, I'll be talking to him later tonight after we get done.
Very cool.
Hey, I remember a while back you were also teaching a class to kids about podcasting. You still doing that or what?
So I haven't been able, I didn't get to do that this year, because I had to really focus on making money because this little thing called a baby, came along and the fun and games of everything just kind of had to, I had to figure out ways to not just make money, but start to really monetize the things that I've done. Like, the way I see it is you build this resume because if you don't have the resume already, then you need to build the resume. Once you build the resume, then you can start to cash in on said resume. And that's really what I've had to do the first year and a half, 2 years is build that resume up. And now it's just starting to pay off where people are coming to me instead of me running off to people to try to get, web design work, speaking engagements and stuff like that. So it's
awesome.
keep figure out what you want to do and keep on doing it until people notice.
Very cool.
Awesome.
So, all right. So my list is, the whole twist thing. I think it's probably going to be pretty obvious is all of the, it's not all of the sexual references in Disney movies.
Oh, yeah.
But I figured that's what we're here. And of course I will be putting an explicit sign next to my, when I post this on my website.
Yep.
So, cause, I do have kids that go there. So I will only be getting so explicit myself, but, it's, I gotta say, I gotta hand it to you guys, and girl, this is a really tough thing to do, put things into a top 10 list because I felt like with this, it was really tough to pick, what's number one, right?
Yep.
Like, what's the most blatantly, so I don't know that it's like a real top 10 so much as it's 10 things that happened.
Right. A lot of ours, especially my list, I don't really have them in any particular order. So sometimes, but most of the time not. So yeah, it's really just 10 things.
Joe, this is a good example of guys that have a really cool idea of an end goal, but have no clue how to get there. Me and Tach, each week when we go back and forth with coming up with our lists, scramble to try to come up with our lists because we want to make it entertaining, but yet we also want to have it that's, somewhat of a twist and, not a mundane BuzzFeed list or something like that. We want to have it unique and original. So yeah, we love the concept. It's a lot of fun to do. It's very challenging, but we didn't really think that concept through too far.
Spend hours putting lists together.
I could definitely see that. I mean, I didn't spend hours, I didn't have hours and hours to do this list,
right.
But yeah, I do think that it's a fun concept. Obviously there are other, top 10 lists and a top 50 list of cartoons in general, not just Disney stuff, but I specifically went for the Disney thing because Disney's my thing. So
indeed.
That's awesome.
So you ready to get started?
Yeah, man, take it away.
Let's go.
All right. So the first one that I went with was from it's number 10 from Aladdin, the King of Thieves. So it was a direct to video movie based around the characters of Aladdin. And in it, and I gotta preface this.
We'll fix it in post. Don't worry.
I'm sure. Some of these were tough to without having pictures to show you. Some of these are a bit tough, but if you go and look it up, I'm sure you will find it right away. If you wanted to see what some of these look like. So, in Aladdin King of Thieves, the genie says, "I thought the earth wasn't supposed to move until the honeymoon," referencing Aladdin and Jasmine having sex.
Right. Jasmine's my girl now. I'm just saying. Jasmine is my girl. Oh, that's funny though. And the genie played by?
I've never seen it. I don't know if it's played by Robin Williams.
Well, though, from what I understand, Robin Williams did not do 2, but he did return for 3.
Oh, really? He wasn't in 2?
No, and I think Disney thought that he wouldn't be interested, but he was like, I would have done it.
Robin Williams
But I think
is
he
the
returned
genie.
for number 3. I could be wrong, but I would double check on that.
You are correct about King of Thieves. Yeah, he
nice.
was definitely in King of Thieves. But yeah, I guess Return to Jafar or Revenge of Jafar, Return of Jafar,
Revenge of the Nerds.
Jafar Strikes Back or something like that.
Jafar. Yeah, no, apparently no Robin Williams in that one. Yeah, that's a shame.
Move under my feet. I see the sky come. Come on, help me out. What the fuck? Am I the only one that's going to sing?
You're
We
the
have a
only
guest.
thing.
Let's not act that way.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joe.
We have to be on our best behavior.
Our best behavior for Joe. Got it.
So I think it's funny that they put something like that in and had Robin Williams say it and it in a direct to VHS sequel. So
And that's not the only thing with Aladdin, though, right?
Oh well, no,
I don't want to
of course
spoil
not.
anything.
Well, of course not. I mean, there's. I mean, the thing is it was like I said, it was tough to figure out which ones to put in, which ones not to put in. But I figured for a number 10, that was probably, since it's kind
Starting
of
us off
obscure
light.
'cause-
Yeah.
I only know from the first Aladdin,
Yeah,
and that was a
yes.
hidden thing.
Yeah, who was it that said it? Jasmine said it, or
Well,
no,
it's
Aladdin said
Jasmine when she's talking to Rajas that are tiger, and you hear in the background really quietly, "Good teenagers take off their clothes."
What?
You can literally hear it.
I've heard this, but I don't know.
I
Wait,
watched
are
it.
we-
I was actually babysitting some kids, and me and the mom were talking about it, and she went out, and I put the movie in, found it, and when she came back, we listened to it together.
We're not blowing up one of your other numbers, are we?
No, we're not. We're not.
Okay.
There's no other Aladdins in the.
That's why I asked
Or
if there
is
was more
there?
Aladdins.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh.
I love it.
Yeah, but it really says the balcony scene right before the carpet ride.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have to check it
Yeah,
out.
check it out.
I've heard it. I mean, it's on YouTube. You can definitely check it out. You don't have to go get the movie, which might be hard to find if you don't own it.
Oh, I have them all.
So number 9, The
Number
Rescuers.
9.
Number 9.
The approximately 38 minutes into the film, as Bianca and Bernard fly through the city in a sardine can, the image of a topless woman can be seen in 2 different frames.
Really?
Yeah, I think I've seen
Yeah,
this before, yeah.
Yeah, you've never seen this?
No,
I
I've
never
never seen that
noticed.
movie.
I have that movie. We'll have to watch
I've
it.
never seen it either.
I am going to
I've
watch
never
it.
seen the movie, but I've seen that story. Like, I've seen screenshots from that. Yeah.
I am going to watch this G-rated movie just to see boobs. Now, I see. That's exactly what I want to do.
You better find an original copy then, because that's definitely been removed since. Disney claims the images were not placed in the frame by their animators, but were inserted during the post-production process.
Oh.
Yeah, so somebody probably got a
Sneaky
letter.
guys.
Somebody got an email. Well, there wasn't an email yet, but somebody got a letter for sure. You can't be doing stuff like that.
Sure, that's how the meeting went. Yeah, you can't be doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to need you to come in on Saturday.
Go ahead and need you to. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's good. So the next one, number 8, Who Framed
Number
Roger
8.
Rabbit?
Indeed.
This one's been around for a long
That's
time.
Disney?
Where
I guess
Jessica, I mean, there's 2 from, or probably even more than 2 from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but Jessica gets thrown from a car after she hit a light post, and she spirals out of the vehicle, and as she does, her dress flies up, and can be seen that she's not wearing any panties.
Really?
I've heard this, and I
Yeah.
remember even hearing about this when I was a kid, and I remember trying to find it, trying to search for that pause, and then play. Of course, this is VHS, and you can't get as good pauses as you can with DVD, but I tried searching for that. And of course, with DVD, I think you can search frame by frame, but
Adam's
VHS,
getting so excited
good luck
over
trying
there.
to find a frame.
You guys are giving me a whole new, search motive here now. I've never done any so I know a couple of these, but I'm sure, but I did not know the Jessica Rabbit upskirt, no panties. Oh boy.
And I know you love her. That's who you want me to be for Halloween.
So Joe, Andrea is a redhead, and you know I kind of want to go as Roger Rabbit and Jessica Rabbit for Halloween next year.
So I guess I can't wear underwear.
No panties.
No panties.
You heard it.
It's in the
right
show.
Here. It's confirmed.
If I'm going to be authentic, that's right.
That's right.
Gotta be authentic.
Oh, Jessica Rabbit.
Okay.
It's I'm glad that this list isn't completely already founded on you three. So
definitely not on me at all.
So the number 7 was, and this one is pretty blatant. Cars, the movie Cars. Have you guys seen Cars?
Of
yes,
course.
I've seen Cars.
Like
There's sex in Cars.
Times.
So there's actually 2 things in Cars, but I went with the one that was more blatant because apparently, and this one didn't make the list, but apparently there was a rest stop called Top Down, which kind of sounds like a strip club name, like,
euphemism for
Right. That's awesome.
But the one I went with was so like I think it was towards the beginning of the movie. I'm pretty sure.
Talk about the twins.
Yeah, with the twin cars, and they flashed their high beams at Lightning McQueen.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like a
and he says
topless
that
flash.
He loves his job or something. To that effect.
Did they do the stereotypical Miller Lite and the twins things, from the early 2000s commercial?
What?
Did they do that? You know what I'm talking about, Joe? Somebody's got to back me up here.
Maybe you dreamed it.
The old Miller Lite, or maybe it was a Silver Bullet commercial where it's got cheerleaders and...
You just named every beer commercial ever.
That's a good point. If you Google that, you'll find anything that says "and the twins." It's an old beer commercial from the early 2000s.
Looks like it was Coors Light.
Coors Light.
You're the fastest Googler ever. Oh my God.
Super Joe Pardo has got some super fast Google skills.
He's got some
That's what
good
he's got.
skills.
That's how I move over here, man. Gotta move fast. I do not remember this commercial.
I think Ferris Bueller said that.
At all.
And the twins.
But yeah, it's just weird that it's so blatant because like their eyes are in the windshield and they blatantly flash their high beams. Which must be a euphemism for hard nipples, or in this case just totally flashing somebody.
That's right. That's awesome.
It is awesome.
I dig it.
So this one actually, this one probably could have been number 1 from the movie Hocus Pocus.
So what are we on?
Okay.
We're on number 6 now?
Number 6. Oh, sorry. Yes, number 6.
No, it's okay.
So Hocus Pocus, and I've never even really watched Hocus Pocus.
Oh, I love
Girls
that
love
movie.
Hocus Pocus.
I love Hocus
Women
Pocus.
love
I love all the
Hocus
actresses
Pocus.
in it. Sarah Jessica Parker, Matt Bidler.
Women love this
Bette
movie.
Midler.
They love it. And there was talk of a sequel being made, and the internet went crazy. The internet women went crazy, but turns out it was not real.
Oh.
So
Hocus Pocus was not an animated. This is a real movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
We'll watch it at Halloween.
It's one of 2 that made it on this list, actually.
Oh, cool.
So the scene where the 3 witches step onto a bus up to they step onto a bus, and the oldest one tells the bus driver, "We desire children," and the bus driver replies without missing a beat, "Hey, it may take a couple of tries, but I don't think that'd be a problem."
I never noticed that. That's horrible.
Oh, that's just wrong.
nice.
Yeah, so then I saw that there was apparently later on in that same scene, I think it was Sarah Jessica Parker is actually sitting on the lap of the bus driver, bouncing up and down and honking the horn while they're driving the bus.
Was the bus driver later to be starring in commercials for Subway? See what I did there? You see what I did there? Come on.
I see exactly what you did there. He might have been. I don't know. Didn't check the credits on that one.
Oh, that's awesome. I see. I'm going to have to go back and watch some of these, well, at least these sections of these movies. Screw that. You want to have a Disney marathon, don't you?
Yep. Now I can get you to watch Disney movies.
Right.
Oh. So Joe, what we usually do is go 10 to 6 and we take a break. If you want, we can take a short little, 5 or 10 minute break. It's up to you. You're running the show this week, so
no, we can take a break if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. You go ahead. If you want, go ahead and take us out.
Hey, this is Super Joe Pardo, and we will be back in just a minute with the rest of this awesome Twisted Disney Top 10.
Hey, this is Adam. This week's Twisted 10 is brought to you by just Tach and myself. We don't have a sponsor for this week's show. So Tach and I have been talking a lot about having sponsorships in our podcast, weighing the pros and the cons. You know, we're a big fan of having more content than advertising. So as opposed to listening to a radio show where 40% of your time that you're listening to the show is built around sponsorships, Tach and I think that the content delivery is far more important. While the delivery of content of a podcast is paramount to the success of the show, sometimes you gotta have sponsors to help cover some of the bills. While we do have 2 sponsors currently for both of our shows, that's the Twisted 10, which is this show, and Living Podcariously, which is another show that Tach and I produce, a little bit more raw and rough. We do have some opportunities that are coming up for other sponsors. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor of the Twisted 10 or Living Podcariously, shoot us an email at show@livingpodcariously.com, and we'll get back with you with the contract details. All right, welcome back to the Twisted 10. Again, this week is with Super Joe Pardo. So, Joe, take it away when you're ready.
All right, guys. So we went through the first 5, and the first 5 was Aladdin, the King of Thieves. Then number 9 was The Rescuers. Then number 8 was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Number 7 was from Cars. Number 6 was really creepy and from Hocus Pocus, and probably could have went number 1. So the next number 5 is from that Let It Go movie, Frozen.
Let It Go.
I've never seen that.
What?
Never seen
Really?
it.
I've seen it
How
one
have you
time.
gotten away with not seeing that?
I have a son and he's
your old girl in the house.
I have a son and he's 12. Andrea just moved in with me maybe 4 months ago. So
6.
all right, 6 months ago. So I don't.
Counting.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't had a chance to see it yet though. So
And she's over the princesses. She likes Minecraft and Pokemon.
My girls are teenagers and I still saw
Minecraft.
that movie. My son's a huge Minecraft addict.
Minecraft is super addicting, to say the least.
Yeah.
I got sucked in for like a couple weeks.
Right. I just like to build stuff. That's all I like to do.
unlimited mode or God mode or whatever that is.
Creativity
Creative mode.
Yeah, I like that.
So anyway, what's going on in Frozen? What happened?
So, Kristoff is quizzing Anna about what she knows about Hans, and which is apparently nothing. And at the bottom of his long list, is foot size ? Anna replies, foot size doesn't matter.
Nice. But
It's
does it,
very-
Andrea?
No, it doesn't matter. Well, it does a little.
Come on, float me a bone here, Andrea.
As long as your feet aren't too big or too small.
Gotcha.
Is it wrong?
It's hard to go.
It's about the width of the
feet wear.
foot.
It's the girth of the foot, how
It's
well
the
it fits in the
width.
shoe. Is it wrong, Joe, that I always buy an inch larger shoe than what I'm supposed to wear?
Does that hurt your feet at all? You just
No,
stuff a sock in there?
Yeah, exactly. I always stuff socks in. How did you know?
I thought your shoes were a little
Joe's
too
being
big for your
creepy.
feet.
Oh.
No, but for real, big feet suck. Like going I wear 13, sometimes 14s. It depends on if
Listen
it's
to
like a
him.
European shoe. It depends on who makes the shoe, and it sucks because like I basically go into the stores and I'm like, what do you have in a 14? And they're like, here's 3 options, and I'm like, ugh.
Is one of them like usually
these 4 options? 3 or
is
4
one of
options.
them usually like their phone number? Like, oh, you can try this, or just call me. Super Joe.
Super Joe's feet.
Yeah.
Joe's feet.
It stinks though, man. It really.
Your feet stink? Wait a minute. Wait a
It's
minute.
not convenient for buying shoes.
Gotcha.
So, all right, number 4 comes
Number
from Toy
4.
Story 3, and I didn't pick up on this at the time of watching it either, like Frozen, but apparently Lotso the bear wants to shut Mrs. Potato Head up. He grabs her lips right off of her face, and Mr. Potato Head doesn't take too kindly to it and says, "Hey, Nobody takes my wife's mouth but me.
Right. Nice. That's awesome.
Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head get it on
Right.
in that movie.
They have little tater
There's a
tots.
couple of things that they have going on.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I never saw any of that.
Did you watch
Actually,
it?
I don't think I've seen that movie either.
Really?
Joe,
I
am
cried
such
at the end.
I'm a rookie. I haven't seen most of these movies so far.
What is wrong with you?
Where have you
Really?
been?
I love Pixar. I think Pixar is amazing.
They
Everything
are.
they
They
put out
are
is good.
amazing.
Now, if you say something about Wall-E, I'm all in. I know everything, every single pixel of Wall-E.
You know every single pixel of Wally?
Uh-oh, he's reaching for something in studio.
Like this Wally?
Yep, that's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You know,
he
they,
actually
this-
has... Look, he has like a little trash compactor. So
Oh,
That's so
awesome.
cute.
We just saw another movie, Andrea. Help me remember this. That had a little version of Wall-E. I in fact even said it at the beginning of the movie. I'm like, that's a ripoff of Wall-E. It was the same shape, the same design, everything, just with different colors.
Was it a cartoon or was it a...
I don't remember if it was CGI or if it was a cartoon, but we just watched it.
I don't know. All I can remember is watching the Bee Movie yesterday.
Maybe it was the Bee
watched that in
movie.
a long time.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time for me too.
I don't know. I'll think about it and have to get back to you on that.
So
Okay,
number
we're-
3.
Number three.
The Emperor's New Groove. Kronk
love that
pitches
movie.
a tent, like
What?
literally pitches a tent over top of his junk.
No shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like he goes to sleep and he pitches a little tent and then he puts like his bottom half of himself under said tent.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think the joke for the kids is that he's really big, so he doesn't fit in the tent. But us adults get the real joke here.
Yes.
What movie is this again? The Emperor.
The Emperor's New Groove.
Is this where he doesn't have clothes on, but they think he
No.
does, or he thinks he does?
That's the Emperor's New Clothes.
That's the Emperor's New
Yeah.
Clothes.
That's close.
Not
I have
even
this
a little
movie
bit.
too.
Emperor's New Groove. That cartoon is amazing. It's one of the funniest Disney movies you'll ever
That
see.
DVD jukebox has all of the Disney movies that aren't in the vault. Well, some that are, but
Right.
pretty much every single one of them that
Yeah,
were
That is one of the
out
best
in the
of all.
early
It's
like
2000s.
I've
not
got
a
some
musical.
homework.
It's not anything. It's just straight up hilarious fun. I mean, do you like David Spade?
Yeah, of course.
Do you like Patrick Warburton?
It's more of a boy
remember
movie.
who that
I'm
is.
surprised you haven't seen it. There's
Yeah.
no princesses.
I actually haven't
It's
seen
amazing.
it either.
You haven't seen
to-
Emperor's New Groove?
No, I need to get on.
Oh my
on seeing
god.
that.
It's one of the best Disney cartoons ever. It is so funny. So funny.
So number 2, so
Number 2.
for anybody who knows that, like I love Disney, but I also really, really love the Muppets, and they are technically a Disney property.
They are now, yeah.
So I admittedly haven't seen a lot of the Muppets movies, or haven't seen them in a long time. But in Muppet Treasure Island, Kermit says to Piggy, "You and Captain Flint." Like, as a question, I'm not a good, like, actress. So Piggy says, well, he was a pirate and I was a lady. You know the story. So, and then, like, in the next frame or at some point later in the movie, Piggy says, hello, Long John. And Kermit turns to Piggy and says, oh no, him too?
Miss Piggy's a hoe.
Well, Miss
Uh-oh.
Piggy and Kermit are broke up now, apparently.
Are they?
You ever
Yes.
watch the new show?
I
The
saw
new
it
show
and I
is
didn't want to
straight up
watch
for
it.
adults. Like, this is not for children at all.
I saw it and I
Yeah,
didn't like the
no.
fact that they broke up and he was seeing some other pig.
Denise.
So Denise,
She's much
the
hotter.
pig, Denise. No pig is hotter than Miss Piggy.
No, Denise is.
Well, all right.
Miss
So if you
Piggy's
had to,
like
if you
that.
had to combat two animated characters, Miss Piggy or Smurfette.
Miss Piggy, she would
Smurfette.
kick Smurf's ass. She would beat her up.
Especially
it's not about
since
that competition.
Miss Piggy's not animated, but okay.
Oh, I guess
She
that's
was
a good
in
point.
Muppet Babies.
Well, this is true.
I loved the Muppet
Miss
Babies.
Piggy is getting it on. Damn.
Yes, she is.
Miss Piggy would beat up all the princesses. Like she would just be like queen of them all.
You know, I
Not
really do
Princess
like
Leia.
Disney inserting in some inserting the comedy that adults would get, but I think this list is starting to show they might have taken it too far in a couple of instances.
No way, not far enough.
But we don't know what number one is.
That's
What's
true.
number one?
That's true.
I know.
Are you
but
saving-
it's
what
so
number
hard.
one is?
It's so hard
That's what your dad
to
said.
pick a number one.
Oh, he's doing it too.
It
I
was
said
hard.
inserted. He said hard. I see what's going on here. All right.
All right, number one.
Oh, the anticipation is killing me.
Well, I hope it doesn't disappoint.
Funny, I say the same thing every night.
Hi-oh! Go ahead.
All right, it's from Wreck-It Ralph, and admittedly, I've seen Wreck-It Ralph, but I didn't pick up on this when I first saw it. So Wreck-It Ralph is outside of a party that he wasn't invited to because he's the bad guy in the movie. Spoiler alert. And he uses 2 Coke bottles as binoculars to look into the party. And he says, "Pac-Man, they invited Pac-Man? That cherry chasing dot muncher isn't even part of this game."
Holy shit.
Now, I had to look up what cherry chasing meant, and apparently it means an adult male chasing a girl's virginity, which I guess makes sense,
Right.
after the fact, like after looking it up, but yeah.
You're so innocent, Joe. You had to look that up. It's cute.
Pac-Man's a cherry chasing. What?
Dot muncher.
Cherry chasing dot muncher.
Sounds racist as hell.
It does a little bit. Is there an Indian reference there? Just a little?
Whoa. I didn't say to who. Wow.
Oh, well, I'm the bad guy
Showed
now?
your
Dang,
colors.
I met Wreck-It Ralph at Disney World too. I should have asked him about that.
That's a good point.
I'm just
Wreck-It.
wondering about this line in your movie.
Oh,
Did you,
hi-oh.
did you hear what Joe said? If you met him, he might have wrecked it.
Damn, Joe pulling out the stops. Look out.
Joe, she hasn't had her cherry for a while.
Oh, burn. I haven't either.
So
I'll
yeah,
be
that's-
silent.
Let's get weird.
That's
ahead.
that's it. I mean, I hope
No, dude.
That's an awesome list.
Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
great.
Love it.
Thank you very much for calling in with that, because that's you're our first official guest, and I've already reached out to Anthony Hayes as well as Scott Doucette, and then a couple of select members in the community, especially in PDC. I've reached out to a few of the folks in PDC. That's Podcast Discovery Center for other podcasters that are out there. That's a group that Tach and I are members with, and Joe and Scott and a few other guys. But no, dude, that was a great list. I like the direction that you took. It sounded innocent at first, and then it went right downhill.
it did.
That was very cool.
Yeah, I haven't
Thank
thought
you.
about that one at all. That was really good.
What? And you might have already said it, and I just missed it, or I've got a bad memory. What was your potential twist in there?
So, well, the twist was that there's supposed to be Disney movies, and
Oh, got it.
putting in lots of adult references.
Gotcha.
I mean, like
Face value
adult
twist.
references. Adult references.
Yeah, no, that's
No, it's awesome.
that is perfect. So take any time that you want, plug whatever you would like for our listeners to reach out to you and check it out. And then obviously it would honor us for you to share this show, and all of our shows for the Twisted 10 go into Libsyn as explicit. So when you share it, that link will be listed as explicit anyway. So just in case we've dropped a couple F-bombs or something during the show, or just the content itself. But feel free. The mic's yours, dude. Plug what you would like to plug.
I will. Well, thank you for having me on. I'm happy to have put this list together, and it's been a lot of fun. So if you want to check out my stuff, it's superjoepardo.com. I also run the Podcast Mid-Atlantic Conference up here in South Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia. It's September 9th to the 10th. So if you have a podcast, if you want to get podcasting, if you want to take your podcast to the next level, or you want to come out and meet some really awesome people from literally, there's people coming from out of the country, internationally coming to this conference. Would love to have you come out and love to have you, come be a part of it. So, that's podcastmidatlantic.com. So it's not just for Mid-Atlanticers. We've had people from Florida, Atlanta, Ohio. This year we'll have people from the UK. So we're international at this point. So it's not
So
just
this
the
is your
Mid-Atlantic.
this your second year doing that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Last year went really well. I
It
tried to
did.
make it. I couldn't make it, man, but I really wanted to.
Well, I appreciate that. I understand. It's all, we're all the way, up north, away from the
Yeah.
Florida area. But
Right.
but it would be awesome to have you guys come out. We have, like I said, we have people coming from all the way from the UK. and just all over. So, that's podcastmidatlantic.com. And yeah, it's going to be great. The other thing that I wanted to plug that hasn't actually launched yet, but by the time this comes out, it will have launched. I came up with this idea about starting up a way for people to send, packages to me. Like I opened up.
I want that
what a
too.
great idea.
I would love to have everyone send me packages.
So I was like, oh well, I need to get a I need to get a PO box for my business, for speaking, for receiving checks, and it just made a lot of sense. And I was like, you know what? It's $50 a year. Why not? I'll pull the trigger. So I was like, well, I need to come up with a way for people to like. Maybe if I come up with like some giveaways or something, people could like send me stuff, and then we, like letters or anything, right? So I was like, well, what if we created a service where, and it started out with packages where people could send unique or special packages to their to the service, and then we swap those packages out, send Tach, you send something to me, and Adam says something to me, and then I swap the two packages, and you get each other's packages, but you don't know who it's from. But unfortunately, with that comes a lot of headaches of and a lot of questions and a lot of money. So I was like, you know what? Let's just pare it down to motivational letters. We could write something, we could put stickers, we could put, anything that fits in an envelope. Cause that was the thing, the whole shipping thing. It just would get very expensive. Plus, it's asking people, hey, see that picture on my wall? That,
Sure.
that people mover? I'm going to take that off my wall and just send it to who knows who.
Well, I'm sure the headache would also be in monetizing the gifts. So, one person sends a Xbox One, the other person sends a stick of Matchbox, a stick of matches. How do you know, you know what I mean? How do you know which one to send to who? No, I like your idea. That's kind of like a pay it forward kind of deal. So that the person who receives it is then motivated to do something additional. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, so plus we can make it cheaper, so it was $10 a month for the package deal. It was called Boxy Swap, and we made a little box and had a little face and all that, and it was cool. But one of the problems was what you brought up is well, I could have this really cool package that I send out, but then I get a box of matches or a number 2 pencil or something back. And it's well, first off, Melissa and I wouldn't let that happen, right?
Sure.
I wouldn't let that happen. But at the same time, at $10, the shipping could be upwards of almost $7 for that to ship that package. So then that leaves $3 on the table before the fees for PayPal. There just wasn't going to be enough money on the table. So with letters, we can actually, game that to the point where it's okay, well, if it fits in the 6x9, then you can send it out and you can fit whatever you want, because it'd be up to $1 to send, right? For enough stamps, 92 cents or something at the max. So yeah, so that's where we came up with the idea of movymail.com. MOVY mail.com.
For motivational? Is that the acronym there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Motivational. Yeah. So
Cool.
It's inspirational, motivational, so you get to do something nice and send it to somebody else, and you don't know who you're sending it to. So it could be anything. You could, whatever you can fit in the envelope would be great to send. And
so,
yeah.
Is Movie Mail up and going right now?
I just registered a domain name, and hopefully by the end of tonight, it will be up and running. But by the time this goes out next week or whatever it goes out, it'll be
correct.
It'll be up and running.
I smell potential sponsorship.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Joe needs to sponsor the Twisted 10.
Right?
Just say it. Hey, he knows this game. He knows how hard it is to find sponsors. But our other show, Living Podcariously, is easier to sell sponsorships for, because it's such a broad range of topics. This one is a little bit more difficult to sell sponsorships for until it gets really popular. I think once it takes off and once people see this, because to be honest, this is different than I haven't seen anything like this anywhere out there. And when Tach and I brainstormed the idea, 4 or 5 months ago, nobody else had anything like it. So it'll be easy once we get to that point. But dude, that's tough to sell sponsorship for sure.
Oh, I know. As a show that with the Dreamers podcast, it's tough because I go through such a gamut of stuff. Right, like I'm one week I'm interviewing a DJ, the next week I'm interviewing a director, like, or an entrepreneur. So the goal is to get people that are like, they're all entrepreneur minded, but it's tough to like really find that niche service. So that's why I was like, hey, with Movie Mail, it kind of speaks to the people that I have coming, you know, not just on the show, but my listeners. So I could sell my self sponsorships, you know, effectively, as well as to hopefully to other shows. So it's very much a possibility as long as we get people to sign up. That was the thing. Like we ran, like we did the whole Boxy Swap thing. We ran across the whole weekend through Facebook ads. We had like 50 some clicks, but we didn't get it. We only had one person subscribe. And it was like, okay, well, it's pretty clear there's a lot more questions here that people have than just like, ooh, yes, I want this. Yes, yes, yes. So that, you know, it kind of made the decision like, okay, well, if we move it to like a letter, it puts you in a box, but by putting you in a box, we niche it to people who want to be inspired.
No, if we can help with that at all, either with promoting it or if you want, Andrea, Tach, and myself to maybe write some letters and get your first ones out there, we'd be happy to help in any way we can. Just let us know. And, you know, are the instructions because I'm sure it has to be pretty ambiguous in its content for the reader of the letter, so you can't be targeting a very specific, you know, person, you know, gender or anything like that. Are your instructions on your site pretty easy to understand and intelligible?
They will be when it's done. So basically, it's not going to be too hard because we already have the Boxy Swap site, so I can just basically duplicate that and then just change it so that it's geared towards like envelopes instead of packages.
Okay. Right. I'm kind of disappointed I can't send you my package, but it's all it's all good, Joe.
The shipping would cost way too much on that package tag.
Not on mine, it wouldn't.
If Tach sent you his package, it would be really lightweight mail.
Yeah, lightweight.
You kind of stole.
I can fit inside a 6x9.
6x9 Tag's pretty. That's pretty good, buddy. Give me some.
No,
you're gonna adapt that.
No, really, it's not. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
That's cool, Joe. I'm really excited. I'm gonna check it out definitely once that gets up and going.
All right. Well, cool. Hey, Joe, do you have anything else you want to plug?
No, I think I was at the conference, plus, Movie Mail and my website. So my books are all on the website. Everything's there.
And people can find your books at Amazon.com as well, correct?
Yes, they can actually find the books at Amazon.com. In fact, this month, because I don't know if you guys saw, there was an article, that I posted something on Facebook about being on entrepreneur.com and foxnews.com. I don't know if you might have seen it. Facebook sucks for always like letting people know stuff. But, yeah, because of that, I sold 12 books and made like $100 this month, just out of thin air.
Oh, nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah, talking about some passive income. Now I just got to keep replicating that over and over and over again. You know,
Nice.
Tell me about it.
But it's there. But it's real, right? Like that's how it happens. Like if you put in the work and you make the right people notice you and they take you seriously, then things like that can happen. Or a baby can cry behind you.
Hey, that I will never cut out of the podcast. By the way, those kinds of noises are very wanted.
Your arm's in the way.
Maybe he's doing that on purpose.
Look how cute.
Oh,
Precious.
She is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
That's adorable. Well, all right, Joe, on that note, we're going to wrap up the show.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for guesting with us this week. Again, this will come out 10 days from now, a week from Thursday.
And if any listeners out there have any ideas or anything you want to let us know, you can hit us up at the generic email of thetwisted10@gmail.com because we don't have a website yet.
Check out superjoepardo.com and Movie Mail. What was it? Movie Mail.
Yeah,
Movie
M-O-V-Y.
Movie Mail. MOVY Mail.
I'll get that right in the show notes for sure.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And spread the word over to Anthony Hayes and Scott Doucette and tell them you had a good time and Andrea showed her boobs to you on Skype. That way we can get some of those guys on here. But no, you were our first invite for this, so thank you for responding and hooking us up with a great top 10 list. We really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
sir. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys inviting me, and happy to be the first, pop your cherry over here. So it's all good.
Nice.
We're cherry chasers, man.
We are cherry chasers. Cherry
like
chasing dot
Pac-Man.
munchers. All right. Thanks, Joe. Have a good
All
one.
right, Joe. We'll see you.
Bye.
You too, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Nice meeting you.
You see the video sitting on our table over there.
Yeah,
that is our boy Joe Pardo.
Joe Pardo,
who is going to guest host an episode of the Twisted 10. So how you doing, Joe?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourselves?
Very, very
good,
well.
Good, man. Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate being here, and I appreciate just being asked. And it was, what was it, like 2 months ago? Adam had brought it to my attention that I should be a guest, and fortunately, but unfortunately, I had a kid, so now we're here though.
Now, what the audience didn't hear for the Twisted 10 is while we were doing the pre-recording work in studio, Joe's wife brought his baby by, so we got to hear newborn cries, and of course Andrea was
cute.
Yeah, she was in love. So no, man, that was a treat for us. Congratulations on the newborn. That's awesome.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun.
Certainly,
it's been very tiring, obviously.
Yeah, you're developing new bags under your eyes. What's that all about? You wanna?
Yeah, well, you
taking a trip.
Do what you
Those
gotta
are daddy
do.
bags.
Going on a trip there, Joe?
Daddy bags. My meaning of daddy
bags.
bags is completely different than Joe's meaning of daddy bag.
Gotta do. And it's been a lot of fun. But I've also written 2 books in the first 2 years, 31 life-changing concepts, as well as How to Dream Big and Win. And I'm working on my 3rd and 4th books at the same time. The 3rd book is going to be Sales Won't Save Your Business, because it's more of from a business side, my business background, because I do a lot of business consulting. I also do web design. I also am a speaker. Like, I do a lot. So I do a lot to earn the whole Super Joe Pardo title. I wouldn't feel right if I just sat back and just called myself that for marketing's sake. So
very nice. Hey, by the way, Anthony Hayes gave me or awarded me your 31 Concepts book. So I have that sitting on the shelf in there and read it. It's a quick read, but it's really good. It's a good book. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to Anthony. Shout out to Anthony Hayes, because he's the man. In fact, I'll be talking to him later tonight after we get done.
Very cool.
Hey, I remember a while back you were also teaching a class to kids about podcasting. I'm guessing Disney
about.
Stuff.
It is Disney stuff.
If I know Joe, I know Disney.
Andrea, this is a show you might be able to guess ahead of time. You know Disney better than Tach and myself. Joe, I feel I've done you a wrong here, though. I didn't actually introduce your shows or your books or anything. So do you want to take a second and do a little bit of that? Just say who the hell is this Joe Pardo guy, and why is he on the Twisted 10? Some of our listeners may not know who you are.
That's quite possible. It's quite possible. Okay, so I'm Joe Pardo, also known as Super Joe Pardo from superjoepardo.com. I run the Dreamers podcast, where I interview people who live their dreams every single week. I also do a pre-show where we talk about the different topics that, like, as far as management, running a business, being an entrepreneur, dealing with self-doubt, like all that great stuff. Gets shoved into one big episode. My episodes used to be 30 minutes, and now they're like anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. Because of the pre-show plus the interview. It's, I don't mind at all, because I don't do any editing anymore like I used to. So I put it out there and I do what I got.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're listening to The Twisted 10, bringing you original and unique, host-created top 10 lists, recorded live in world-famous Cocoa Beach, Florida, with hosts Tach Van Sickle and Adam Poston.
Welcome to another episode of The Twisted 10. I'm one of your hosts. My name's Adam Poston. Sitting to my right,
I am Tach. What is up?
how you doing, man? Another week. We got a really cool show this week. But let me introduce one other guest before we get going. Andrea Joy is in studio with us.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, welcome, Andrea.
And
Thank
Tach,
you.
I have a very special surprise for you this week.
You do.
I kind of set this up. We talked about it in the past, but I kind of set this up without you knowing about it. I hope you're okay. Don't fire me from the show or anything.
What would you do after?
Just saying.
Well, you mean badges of honor, bags of honor.
Bags of honor. Yeah, very good. So, Joe, you've listened to the show. I assume a couple of the episodes already for the Twisted 10?
Yes.
All right, cool deal. So how the format works with guests, you're our first guest over the internet. This is a Skype hosted call. So you're our first guest from abroad. Essentially, this is your show. So you're going to take over the Twisted 10, and you are going to present us with your unique and original top 10 list. And we're just going to sit back and relax. Joe, I don't know if you know, but this is a way for us not to have to do pre-show work. You just take it over for us. And
hey, thanks. It was my week too. Appreciate it, Joe.
No, you're very welcome, Tach. Anything I can do for a friend, man.
All right, brother. Whenever you're ready, you can get started.
So I wasn't supposed to tell you guys what my list was going to be about, so I didn't. But I think if you know me and you know what I'm about, and like if you could see the background of my office, you would probably have a